Hey Tina, we had another fabulous webinar conversation today around authenticity, exploring this idea of professionalism in the workplace. So, competence and knowledge and abilities and all that professional stuff. And then, along with that, this idea of bringing your authentic self into the professional workplace and whether those two things can coexist. It was a really interesting conversation. What did you take away?
Well, I mean, almost immediately the values popped up, psychological safety popped up, trust built up, and then we also framed it around the environment. So all of these things are necessary for authenticity in the workplace.
Hmm.
I also found it really interesting how we all had stories about how when we have shown up authentically, how it bumped up against the values or the norms or
The professional environment that we're in.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was such a great day.
Yeah. Well, there was a great story. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning the stories because there's one from a former CEO who shared that she got so wrapped up in the professional expectations and kind of the culture of the sector that she was working in that she lost herself. And it was fascinating to hear her say that. So in terms of authenticity, she just got caught in this spiral of what she perceived to be the expectations of the job and of the sector and of the organization. And there actually wasn't a whole lot of room necessarily for her to show up authentically. And I think you asked her, so if you had a chance to do that again, what would you do? And it was one word, boundaries.
Yeah.
Establishing some boundaries which would make some room for her to show up more authentically in the workplace.
It was such a relatable story. I mean, everyone was like, nodding their head, like, yes, we know this story well.
Yeah.
And then we had another individual who has incredible experience in the Canadian, or not in the Canadian forces, in the U.S. military, and he shared a story. He recently wrote a book, and he's been going from shop to shop. He's on his book tour, which is honestly his story is really a great one to follow. And it's interesting because what he's noticing is it is a social experiment and it's intense. So every day he gets to share his message repeatedly, and he gets immediate feedback from the business owners or the people coming to see him. And one of the feedback that he got was um, that his message was really polished, and instead of interpreting that as like, oh, wow, I'm really nailing my message and things are going really well, his interpretation was, does that mean I'm showing up authentically? And so it was really interesting to hear him unwrap and unravel the analysis of his own authenticity. I thought, I mean, there was so many really valuable, rich, and so relatable. I mean,
Yeah.
that in itself, I mean, I know I've gone into interviews and we had other really cool stories today. And same thing, this is how I showed up. It did not align with my values. There was tension. We've all experienced
Yeah.
how our authenticity bumps up to either the values that are written on the wall, like the professionalism, the rules of engagement, or the hidden ones that, like, this is not how we behave.
And I loved when the story about our author who was um, was concerned about coming across as too polished. Like I've really nailed the elevator pitch, but how's it landing for everybody else? And so he's reflecting now on how do I kind of make it less polished so that it lands more authentically and I can connect in a different way with whomever I'm talking to. Yeah, it was really great. Thank you for sharing that story.
It was
So,
so good.
yeah,
Yeah, sorry if I may. I mean, there was one individual near the end who, just flippantly shared an idea, which all of us like gasped, and it's like the big takeaway, which was, she just asked herself, like, and do you like yourself? Like,
coming
Do
out
I
of a
like
job
myself?
interview, right?
Yeah.
She was,
A job interview. Yeah. She was speaking specifically to her job interview. But in any situation, whether it's professional or personal, her question, her takeaway is like, do I like myself in this environment?
yeah.
Oh,
And that opened the door
such
to
a
this idea of this kind of ongoing practice that we could all take, right? So you come out of a
yeah.
conversation like that and just simply ask yourself, did I like myself in that interview? And if so, what was it about myself that I liked? Okay, so those are some attributes about authentic me. Did I not like myself in moments? Okay, what were those moments? Great. Now, those are attributes maybe of my inauthentic or less authentic me. So there's this ongoing opportunity to really fill out that picture about what
Yeah.
makes us authentic because the self-awareness piece is a cornerstone of authenticity, right? We really need to understand what makes us tick, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, and arguably we can only do that in the context of other people, other environments. And so it was such a great conversation to see all of these ideas and how they are lived in real life.
Yeah,
It was
brilliant.
another amazing conversation. I just love this group. I'm so privileged and honored every single time.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, for those who are listening to our conversation, if this sounds interesting to you, we have a couple of things coming up. We're doing these webinars on a monthly basis. Next one's on the 12th of February. And we're also doing an in-person full day workshop, Authentic Edge workshop on the 23rd of April in Ottawa. And we'll include the details for those, both of those things in the comments.
Awesome. And we are also developing a community. So stay tuned for that. We're
Right on.
working on some exciting things.
Thanks, Tina.
Thank you, Derek.
See
Yeah.
you.
Have a great day.
Bye.